Hey everybody, Raul here for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the great honor and pleasure of chatting with bassist Gabe Maska. Yay!
Hey everybody, what's up?
Gabe, so great to get a chance to chat. People may have seen you with your work with Butterside, and we definitely want to talk about the band a little bit too, but before that, we want to go all the way back. How did you get started in music and on bass?
Well, it's interesting. Actually, I used to play piano when I was a little kid, but I always thought it was just kind of lame. And then I saw the bass, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, you have big hands. You should play the bass." And I was about 13 at the time. Now I just play a little bit of everything, but bass has been my main one ever since I picked it up, and I don't think I'll ever set it down.
There you go. And are you self-taught or have you had formal training?
I did study bass at Los Angeles College of Music in Pasadena. That's why I came to the U.S. originally. I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and I moved out here when I was 18. I'm 29, so it's been a little over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I did study bass. I have an associate's degree, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. And as you mentioned, your background from Brazil, the kind of music that Butterside is playing is certainly not even remotely close to what is typically seen as Brazilian music, although I do know there's a huge metal scene and rock scene in Brazil, and there has been for decades. How has that influenced your inspiration and how you develop your bass lines?
I think that kind of music is just in our blood. If you're born in Brazil and you grew up listening to that on the radio, just driving in your car with your parents or whatever, it just becomes part of you. So it comes out in sneaky ways. It might not sound like, what you expect to hear, or like a bossa nova song or something like that, but it's in there. The rhythms, the syncopations and everything, it's all in there, just with a little distortion.
Totally. Well, as the world has got smaller through better communication, whether it's through the internet or all of that, there's been an external influence into Brazilian music, and from the United States, from Europe, all of that. And as a matter of fact, there's been quite a few Brazilian heavy metal bands that I listen to that will sing in English, as a matter of fact, because it seems like it's the language that goes with that kind of music.
Absolutely, yeah. I used to always have this discussion. I remember in high school with my friends, my band used to sing in Portuguese, but all of our friends' bands were all in English, Once I moved to the US, then obviously everything became English. But I think the reason why they do that, it's exactly what were you talking about? The internet thing, makes it easier to branch out to other countries, because English is just kind of like a universal language. Mm-hmm. Say, at least in rock, that's been kind of established. So instead of just limiting your public to Brazilian people who speak Portuguese, you can play for the entire world. So might as well. I guess they were right about that.
Gotcha. And Butterside, how did that come about?
Butterside, we all met at the Sunset Strip, just jamming at the Viper Room or a whiskey or whatever, just going to the Rainbow. And we all became friends rather quickly. And then Sam Bam was an incredible guitar player. He called me to be part of the band with Patrick, because I guess at the time I was playing with this band, Royal Distortion. We had a residency at the Whiskey, and Butterside was opening for us. And I saw those guys, and I was like, wow, I like their music, And from then on, it was just such an easy switch, because it was a different lineup before. And then now it's this whole new lineup where we all write music together. It's me, Sam Bam, Logan Nikolic, Jeff Dubray, and Patrick Stone, the singer. We get along really well. I have to say that.
That is an important factor. You definitely have to, because you spend probably more time with the band than anyone else.
Yeah, we're always texting each other. Right now, I've been in Vegas most of the time this year because I'm doing the show out here at 27, which I'm playing guitar for. I play Kurt Cobain. It's a tribute thing. But still, every day we're texting. We're trying to figure out what the next thing is that we got to do. What's the next song we're going to put out? What's the next music video we're going to shoot? And texting like friends, memes and stuff like that, all the time. So, yeah, we're very close.
There you go. I'm glad you mentioned the video aspect, because I had a chance to look at some of the videos that you guys have done, and there's a real creative aspect. I don't know if you're drawing from people in Hollywood that do a lot of makeup and special effects and cool stuff, but they range from Scooby-Doo in ghost lighting to, kind of the sinister carnival setting in Amber Alert to this latest one, Too Far, which broaches the subject of suicide and homicide.
Yeah, it's a pretty heavy one,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, I mean, most of the video ideas come from Patrick. He writes the scripts and everything, except ghostlighting. That was a joke I made, and then Logan backed me up, and he was like, "Let's do it." So everyone was like, "Okay." So you never know. I mean, I just thought, why take yourselves too seriously as a band? Look at the Foo Fighters, look at what they do with their music videos. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite. But I think if you want to raise awareness to a certain subject, and like Patrick did, his sister, not to get super dark here, but she did commit suicide, and there's other people he knows that, have been through struggles like that, and us ourselves too, we can't hide that. And if you don't acknowledge a problem, you can never fix it. So we got to talk about those things, because we're all in this weird life together, and we just got to figure out how to make it work for everyone. And if that means we got to stop bullying each other and being, mean to each other, then we better get to it. We better do that, because people might snap. It's just a shame that it happens, but it happens. We've seen it. So I guess that's a good way to bring that to light. And the lyrics is just like a big, I don't want to curse, but it's a big screw you to all these people that, mess with you. And it's a warning really to them, for them to look at themselves and change their behavior so that nothing terrible happens, because we don't want that.
Absolutely. Well, and so often I think with music, the general public, people out there, the listeners, may be going through a situation, and more often than not, they feel very alone. They don't think that is happening to anyone else. This is just them. And when music comes up that they can identify with and go, oh, like, I'm sad because I have a broken heart, or I'm in love with somebody who doesn't recognize me, or I'm frustrated, or I'm being punked on social media, which is just way too prevalent and has been such an issue.
Yeah.
This gives them, I think, a sense of going, wait, this isn't just me. This is more common, and maybe in that way it can help kind of bring it to light, can help them maybe look at it from a different angle.
Yeah, because we don't want them to be alienated. We're all alive together. I think more often than not, people think about the individual self more so than the group. And I'm not even talking in terms of anything but just like being able to coexist. Because we're all free individuals. We should all just be able to be free without any judgment or anything like that. And as long as you're not interfering with anyone else's freedom, I don't see the issue there.
Sure.
So it's just a way of bringing people together, I guess. And that's the power of music to me, at least. Music is just, especially punk rock and all of that. I come from like a mostly punk rock background. Growing up, I was listening to bands like Sex Pistols, Ramones, and then I got into Nirvana and all different things. I think it's a good way to it's the healthiest way to let that energy out without hurting anyone.
Sure.
And I think it's an important thing, and we all miss it. We miss live music. It's coming back now, which is great. But yeah, it's definitely an important thing for society and people in general. I think it's a good way. It's the healthiest way to let that energy out and be part of something.
Totally. And the music that Butterside is playing, it's always hard to place things genre-wise, but it be alternative rock or more kind of heavy metal, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you could say alternative rock. You could say active rock. I don't know. I just say rock and roll.
There you go.
Rock and roll is, I guess it englobes every style we're talking about.
It is a much bigger definition. And since we're talking about sound, let's talk a little bit about how you're getting your sound. What gear are you playing on?
I usually play, I've been playing Gowling & Kruger for years. And I usually have my stack with me unless the venue has, has a backline. Yeah, I have two Neo cabinets, one 410, one 115, and a 2001 RB head, all Gallon Kruger. And I have a bunch of pedals. I have this dark class Alpha Omega, and I split the signal so that the dry out goes into the modulations go into the amp. I got like a chorus phaser. And before all that, I just got this new JCT 95. Have you heard about that pedal? The new Fuzzwah
Mm-hmm.
by Justin Chancellor? Yeah. So I'm loving that because I always wanted a wah that had the fuzz triggered only when you stepped on the wah, and you can have that. You can bypass the fuzz that is built in with, and it only comes on when you step on the wah.
Nice.
So I don't have to like step on an overdrive before the Y and then step on the Y, and then when I take my foot off, step on the overdrive again. It makes everything easy. And then I got like a low kill E compressor, which it's been kind of my little secret the past 10 years. And that's pretty much it. On the recordings, I use this modulus Flea bass that I've had for years. Actually, Flea signed it for me too back in the day. For live shows, usually lately I've been using both Fenders. I have a Fender Deluxe Jazz American that I made into a PJ, and then I got an Aerodyne that's also a PJ. Both passive, yeah. Rotosound strings, picks. I don't know. I just get whatever Sam orders me because he's got this like deal with like these custom picks. But .73.
Nice.
But I play with my fingers too, and that's pretty much it. Mogami cables, yeah.
Very cool. I remember I'd noticed the Aerodyne in the video where you guys were out in the snow.
Yeah.
And it going, well, there's a contrast, but
yeah, actually, that bass, I bought that bass for that video, and because we needed a drop C bass. These guys they write like really low tuning songs, so yeah, I had to buy a bass just for that and get a new nut and everything. I had it set up with different strings. My friend Greg Coates built me like a set of strings, so yeah, that's what that bass is for.
And as we look forward, I know we're kind of on the tail end of the pandemic. Hopefully, fingers crossed to an extent, venues are opening up, but nothing is obviously etched in stone. But what plans do you guys have for the near future?
So we have a lot of songs recorded. We need to shoot more music videos, and we're going to be releasing them every 6 weeks or so, like we've been doing with this past 3 songs. And then we'll go from there. We have a show at the Viper Room March 19th. But that's, I think, the only thing that's booked right now that I know of. Viper Room on Sunset Strip, I think where we all met, honestly. And yeah, I guess once the music hits, then we'll get out on the road and play it for people. Because right now, I think it just makes more sense to have the music out there, make an impact before you even get out the door, as opposed to doing it like the old ways where you would go out to play to promote the songs.
Mm-hmm.
I guess right now you got to promote the songs so you can go out and play. You know what I mean?
Sweet.
So I think that's where we're at, but I think for sure there will be like a summer tour or something like that next year. I'm really hoping for that.
Well, and you guys released Spiritual Violence in 2021, just earlier this year.
Yes.
And with many bands, albums that got released during the pandemic didn't follow the regular pattern of album goes out and then you're touring, playing out the songs on that album.
Yeah, we played a tour before then with LA Guns. We went out with LA Guns in 2019. It was like before the album was out, because I guess Patrick was having issues with releasing it. And then I went in and tracked all the bass in like one day, the 10 songs like in one pass. And then after that was done, that's when we finally released the album. But we did tour those songs in late 2019, yeah. So it was like the other way around, I guess. And then, then the pandemic happened. We didn't really have a chance to keep going. We had a lot of plans to go out and play several different places that never happened. Everything got canceled,
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But hopefully 2022 will be different. I've been playing here 5 shows a week, but, just in one place. We all have to get COVID, vaccines and everything. And it is what it is, but here we are, and I think this is a good opportunity to come out of this on top, because what we did was, since we had all this free time, we just made a lot of content. We started recording new songs, writing new songs, There's so much stuff that's not even recorded yet that we've written and making music videos and all sorts of stuff like that. So in a way, it wasn't all that bad. You just got to make the best out of every situation in life.
I agree. And if people want to stay on top of what you guys are doing, where's the best place for them to look?
Butterside.com has links to everything. I'm mostly on Instagram at Gabe Maska. But yeah, Butterside.com I think is the easiest link that leads to everything else. Facebook, YouTube. But please check out our music videos, because that's a big part of what we do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the songs are out on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, wherever. You just look for Butterside Too Far. That's the latest EP we got, Too Far, Ghostlighting, and Voices up on there, which are part of the new batch of songs we all wrote together and did recorded with Mac Good, this producer, worked with Asking Alexandria and all these different bands like that. Yeah, and stay tuned for more, because there's a lot more songs coming, a lot more music videos, a lot more cool stuff coming your way, and hopefully we'll see you soon, on the road.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you taking time to chat with us and share your journey and all of this cool information. You've seen him here, Gabe Maska. Muito obrigado.
De nada. Thanks, guys. Thank you for having me.